Back in 1962, John Glenn did something he's very proud of. It helped his country and made him feel like he was making a difference in the world. He was a volunteer for the Boy Scouts of America. It's been about 36 years now, and today's Boy Scouts can still give him a lift. Especially these three. John Glenn has the right stuff. Do you? Strong values, strong leaders.
Excuse me, ma'am. May we help you cross?
Why, that would be lovely, boys.
Scouting, where character counts.
Oh, I think I forgot my purse up there.
Hello and welcome back to Civil Discourse. This is a program brought to you by the American Civil Liberties Union of Greater Jacksonville, Florida. And my name is Ken Hurley, and we discuss issues of our day that confront civil rights issues and civil liberties issues. And today we're going to discuss GLBT issues, gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender issues. I think at no time in America's history, other than today, has the GLBT, the gay, lesbian issues, been more at the forefront of American public dialogue than today. The GLBT issues are being discussed in the Congress, in the state legislatures, in the courthouse, and in the court of public opinion every single day. We have very popular television characters on primetime television shows portrayed as gay and lesbian characters. We have very popular individuals such as Rosie O'Donnell coming out and publicly discussing sexual orientation. What does all this mean? And suppose you are a young person, suppose you are a youth. Where do you go if you are struggling with sexual orientation and sexual identity? Is there a place in Jacksonville that you can go to? I'm here to say, yes, there is. There's an organization called JASYMN. It's the Jacksonville Area Sexual Minority Youth Network. And today, that will be the topic of our discussion. And I'm very pleased to welcome Cindy Watson, who is the Executive Director of JASYMN. Cindy, welcome to Civil Discourse.
Thank you, Ken. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. Not only are you the Executive Director, but I think JASYMN is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. That's a milestone for any organization. Congratulations.
Thank you. It truly is a milestone. And this October, we do celebrate 10 years as an organization, as a nonprofit organization here in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. We actually have 10 plus years as in our history, because we started out as a youth support group right here in Jacksonville in the public libraries. A teenager came with the notion that as a gay youth, he knew he needed support, and he knew there must be others who needed that kind of support also. Mm-hmm. And so started that support group back in '93 actually, and in '94 a group of adults came together and said, you know, one support group is important, but we feel like there are a lot more things that we could do as an organization. Mm-hmm. If we incorporate. So that's the anniversary we're celebrating.
Well, happy anniversary. A lot of times youths might be confused about sexual orientation and not know for certain what it is to be gay or if they're gay, and sometimes seek guidance from religious leaders or teachers or guidance counselors, parents or friends, and get the advice that they might get, but still wind up having something inside of them saying something might be a little different. Is that a fair statement?
Well, a lot of young people A lot of folks who identify as gay or lesbian have a sense when they're children that there's something different, but it's usually when they approach adolescence that that difference becomes clear. They start to realize that their attraction, their emotional and physical attraction is with people of the same sex. And they also begin to realize that that in this day and age still carries a bit of stigma, or a lot of folks don't understand that. And so there's the experience of, okay, I'm different in this way, who can I talk with safely about it? And am I going to be accepted and understood, or am I going to be rejected? And so even folks, young people that are questioning, they may be gay, they may not be, but it's not always safe even to question or to talk about that in schools or in families or different places. And so they find that having a place to come like JASYMN, where they can just be accepted for who they are, no questions asked. We don't try to tell them one way or another, you must be gay or you're not gay. That's not for us to decide or to understand. That's a young person's development and understanding of themselves. And we provide the safe space. As a matter of fact, our mission is to build safe space for gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and questioning youth that will nurture their health and well-being and enhance their pride and self-esteem.
Well, that sounds admirable. There's probably not another organization in the greater Jacksonville area doing exactly what you're doing.
There's not another organization doing what we're doing in Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia, anywhere close by. We are very unique, Ken, both in terms of the youth population that we serve and also in the range of programs that we offer young people. We offer programs in Jacksonville that you likely won't find except in some of the bigger cities around the country. So we're unique in that way as well.
And it would have to be a struggle. It's not only a struggle once you determine your sexual orientation or your sexual identity, it's a struggle for equal rights. I mean, it's an ongoing struggle, and that's one of the things the ACLU does is champion the rights of those who have typically been disenfranchised or denied equal rights under our Constitution. And no group other than the gay and lesbian community reaches the forefront of that than the GLBT community. It's a struggle right from almost from birth, the way I understand it, until you reach a level of comfort with who you are as an individual. And part of what society has to do is come around and say, this is the way it is. This is who we are as a society. These people should not be disenfranchised. They should be welcomed into the community with equal protection under our Constitution and our state constitutions.
Well, that's certainly what we advocate. We do recognize that our young people face a lot of barriers and sometimes discrimination and harassment in just trying to carry out their day-to-day lives. And we see that when young people come from schools and talk about the harassment they face in schools from their peers and sometimes even from personnel, teachers, staff.
A lot of it is ignorance, don't you? Would you agree with that?
I think it is probably ignorance. I think, and lack of understanding, just not really understanding. A lot of folks, if they haven't experienced it close by themselves, they can't imagine it. They can't imagine other people's lives. And that's not just true of gay and lesbian issues. That's true of any kind of difference or diversity. And so I think sometimes it's a lack of imagination as well. It's a lack of understanding that there are many kinds of people in the world and many different ways that people live their lives. And just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad.
It doesn't mean it's wrong either.
Right.
It's different. Now, it's okay for somebody to have a religious viewpoint that says, that teaches them one way of thinking, which is separate and apart from what our equal protection should be under our Constitution. Those two, I believe, can coexist in America, and that's what America should be all about, is finding the equal right protection for everybody in this country.
Right.
And coexisting in some sense of harmony. Can we talk a little bit about some terms? We use the term sexual orientation. How do you define that?
Well, sexual orientation is something that all of us have, first of all. It's not just something that gay and lesbian people have. It's our attraction, our emotional and physical attraction to a person. And so when we say that a person's sexual orientation is heterosexual, then we're describing someone whose attraction is for a person of the opposite sex. If we say someone's homosexual, then we are talking about someone who has attraction and affection for a person of the same sex, either men for men, that's gay men, or women for women, that's lesbian. And then there are also folks who have the capacity to have attraction and affection for people of both sexes, and that is bisexuality.
And one that's a little bit more complicated, transgendered individuals. How do you define a transgendered individual?
Transgender is an umbrella term, first of all, that covers a lot of different gender expressions and gender differences. But many people, when they talk about transgender, are thinking about transsexual, which is one of the categories under transgender. And so a transsexual person is someone who's had the lifetime experience of being born one gender, for example, male, but having an internal sense of themselves, a deep internal sense of their identity as female. That creates a very complicated life.
Yes.
When you don't have that congruence, that connect between what your body is and who you know yourself to be. For young people, that's very challenging as well. But that's a person. So a person who's on that journey, trying to connect who they are physically with who they know themselves to be emotionally and as an identity. That's what we think of as transgender.
And do transgendered people come to JASYMN, and bisexuals and gay and lesbians? You have the whole.
Let me tell you, Ken, we run a youth center. JASYMN, one of our programs is to run a youth drop-in center in the Riverside area of Jacksonville. And so we have a range of young people that come into our center and find safe space. Last year, over 400 young people came to our safe space, our drop-in center at JASYMN.
Do they all come from basically Jacksonville, or do they come from?
Jacksonville and the greater area. I mean, we do have young people who come from St. Augustine, occasionally Southeast Florida, sometimes as far away as Gainesville and Lake City, Daytona, because we're really it for miles around. But our young people, the folks who come in, some of them do identify as gay, some of them identify as lesbian, some identify as bisexual, some identify as heterosexual, some are questioning and don't want to identify, some young people identify as queer, and some young people identify as transgender. So we have, I would dare to say, we have probably the most diverse youth population in our center of any other organization in the city.
Do you have any heterosexual people?
Absolutely, we sure do. We have young people who sometimes, we call those kids straight kids. Sometimes they come with their friends, and sometimes they come because they may not feel like they fit in with other folks. We also have young people who are heterosexual but whose parents are gay. And they have a sense of, you know, I get targeted, I get harassed because my mom is a lesbian, and so this is a safe place for me to come as well.
Yeah, it is a difficult challenge when like Florida has the ban on gay adoptions. There's been an ACLU case, and a lot of people misunderstand what it is to be a gay or lesbian couple raising a child. Can you speak to that at all?
Well, I have some personal experience because I am a parent as well. And all I can say is that it's really not very different from other people's experiences. It's you know, being a parent is being a parent.
You want the best for your child.
Of course, you want the best for your child, and you do everything in your power to make that happen. And you want them to be in a loving home and a loving family, and that's what my partner and I give our children. But you also, there are challenges because people don't always understand that. And again, it's that thing about difference. We may look like a different kind of family from others around. Sometimes people, when they first meet us or see us, they have a strong reaction of what I think of as just prejudice. They just have a prejudgment about who we are because they don't understand.
Right.
But most people who get to know us understand that we are in fact a family, just like every other family in our neighborhood.
Now, you don't self-identify, hello, my name is Cindy, I'm a lesbian mom. You don't greet people that way. You let it happen and unfold in a natural discussion of when you first meet people, I would presume. Is that?
Well, the thing, you're talking about something that we call coming out, which is something young people do when they first are beginning to understand that they might be gay or lesbian. They first think of, okay, this is who I am. They come out to themselves and then to people around them. And what we've learned is that for gay and lesbian people, coming out is not something you do one time. It's a lifetime process. And the reason it is because we live in a society that for the most part assumes that people are heterosexual. There's an assumption that everybody's heterosexual, that that's the norm. And so if your life is outside of that mainstream, people don't know who you really are. They make assumptions about you that just aren't true. And so if you want to have an authentic relationship with your neighbors, with your friends, with your coworkers, at some point you have to come out. You have to say, well, this is who I am.
Right. Let's pick it up right there. We're going to take a short break, Cindy, and we'll be back with more of Cindy Watson and talking about JASYMN, the Jacksonville Area Sexual Minority Youth Network. You're watching Civil Discourse. My name is Ken Hurley. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Larry Parker, National Honor Society student. Patricia Stevenson, stockbroker. Hector DeSario, systems analyst. Driving while black or brown isn't a crime. If it's happened to you, call us at 1-8776-PROFILE and arrest the racism.
Look what John Ashcroft is doing to our Constitution. He seized powers for the Bush administration no president should ever have. The right to investigate you for what you say. The right to intrude on your privacy. The right to hold you in jail without charging you with a crime. John Ashcroft, he's supposed to defend the Constitution, not rewrite it. The American Civil Liberties Union. For 80 years, we've led the fight to defend your freedoms. Join us.
Welcome back to Civil Discourse. My name is Ken Hurley. You're watching a program sponsored by the American Civil Liberties Union of Greater Jacksonville, Florida. And today we're discussing an organization called JASYMN, the Jacksonville Area Sexual Minority Youth Network, with Cindy Watson. And Cindy, you've been talking to us about JASYMN providing a safe place for people, youths, to go if they are struggling with their sexual orientation or sexual identity. What does it actually mean, though, to be safe? What does that look like?
Well, Ken, a lot of young people actually aren't physically safe, so that's where we begin. We know plenty of young people who experience harassment, physical harassment, and actually hate crimes in their communities, in their schools, even in their families. A good quarter of the young people who are in runaway shelters for young people have been kicked out or thrown out by their families, so they're not safe. A good 75% of young people hear hateful or derogatory words spoken against gay people in school. So they're not safe. So safety can mean physical safety, and it can also mean emotional safety. We really look at the whole person and try to look at, for our young people, how can we create a space where they know they're going to be physically safe, but they also know that they're going to be emotionally safe, and they're going to be nurtured and guided towards health and well-being. And all of our programs, we have a whole range of programs for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender youth.
Tell us about some of them.
And all of them are kind of connected to that idea of safe space. First of all, we run the Youth Drop-In Center. I mentioned that earlier. And that's a place where young people can come and hang out, get a snack, meet their peers, find a social outlet, find somebody who cares about them.
You know what would be a good thing to do? Let's say, tell people where JASYMN actually is.
We're in a big 2-story house in the Riverside area, about 5 blocks from 5 Points. So we're in a great location on Peninsular Place. It's 923 Peninsular Place. And we're just very close to bus lines and the interstate, so young people have
easy to get to.
An easy time getting there.
A lot of people know where 5 Points is.
Right.
So it's walkable from Club 5 or whatever that's called now. Right.
And the coffee houses and all the other things that are in 5 Points.
Right.
So we offer the drop-in center as a safe space. And then when young people come in the door, in addition to just being in a place where they know they're not going to be harassed, they know they can be whoever they are and be accepted. We also have support groups. We run different educational programs. We have a very large program that is focused on health education and HIV prevention.
Okay.
One of the things we know about some of the gay youth in our community is that they're high risk for HIV. A lot of young people are high risk for sexually transmitted diseases. But some of our gay males, gay and bisexual males, especially in the African American community, are high risk for HIV because of the way the epidemic is moving into that community.
So you give a lot of education for that? People
We give education. We do HIV testing right there in our youth center. So
is there a
young people
cost for that?
No, not for young people.
No? What is a young person? How do you define a young person?
We see young people between the ages of 13 and 23. That's a 10-year age span.
Wow.
We don't see them all at the same time, but most of the youth that come to JASYMN are in the 16, 17, and 18-year-old age group.
Are your when and what hours of operation? Are you 24/7 or?
No, the drop-in center is open 20 hours a week, but we try to be open in hours that we know young people are looking for good things to do. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights until 10 o'clock, 4 to 10 p.m. And then Saturday afternoons for a couple of hours in addition to that.
Then that's the drop-in center. And
that's the drop-in center. Now we also have some other programs that are very much related to safety. We have what we call a safety net program, and that has several components. But you know, when you think of the safety net, it's really catching those young people that are most vulnerable, most at risk for being homeless or being kicked out or being hurt. So we're looking at providing different kinds of resources and support for young people so that they can be stable and safe. So what that means is we have some staff that work with young people who are in schools who try to work to make their schools safer, and they do that through organizing diversity clubs or gay-straight alliances. Just in the last 2 years, Duval County has seen its very first gay-straight alliances organized by students. We don't do that, young people do that, but we offer them the support and resources so that they can do that without without getting hurt, because it's
I have hope that maybe one day our school board might adopt the word sexual orientation in their harassment policies. With dignity for all students and use the word all to actually mean all students.
That would be a wonderful thing. That's absolutely what we want to see happen. The Duval County School Board has in their hate crimes component a prohibition against hurting someone if based on sexual orientation, but there's no proactive element that says we want to ensure that there's no discrimination against this population.
And that's exactly what policies are for, is to include a list of people who have experienced firsthand discrimination or difficulties or hate crimes toward them. And that's, I think that's the responsible thing to do for the school board.
And then to follow that up with the kinds of training for staff and teachers and personnel and students that can really ensure that all students have an equal opportunity to learn regardless of their sexual orientation.
So what happens at JASYMN on a Friday night?
Oh,
typical Friday night.
There may be young people that come in and any Friday night. We publish a calendar of events, so that's on our website.
Okay, and on the website is appearing on the screen periodically as you're speaking.
Yes, so so young people can go on there and see what activities we have this Friday night. But we may have game night where people play. That we have very creative folks at JASYMN. They may play a Jeopardy game, but also include educational information in that, like HIV information or STD information or youth development information. We also have different activities that they participate in. We sometimes have community agencies come in and bring food as a kind of a celebration. We do different health education programs, and then we also have young people that can come and just sit around, be in a place that's supervised, that's safe, that's
and talk with other young people
and
with each other. That's so key.
Meet and greet and have a good time.
Is there a difference between a youth group and a support group? Is there a distinction there at JASYMN?
Well, we do have some support groups that occur in the drop-in center, but what we really look at is we're supporting a youth community. And within our within all the activities that we do, we are really looking at supporting youth leadership and having young people be involved in the different aspects of the organization. We have youth on our board of directors.
That's good.
And so we have a lot of different opportunities as well as supports for young people that make what we do more than just a single support group.
How are you funded?
We're funded by different contracts. We have some support from the Florida Department of Health for some of our HIV prevention work. We have support from the City of Jacksonville for the Safety Net project, and especially helping with some of the youth that are homeless. We have funding from the Jacksonville Jaguars Foundation to help with the youth who are in
It's so important that
schools.
people of that prominence are paying attention to something that's as needy and as worthwhile as what you're doing. I think it's terrific. I don't mean to interrupt you, but go ahead.
Absolutely, it is terrific. It is. We couldn't exist without that kind of support. And then most importantly, we're funded by local people in our city who sit down and write a check and say, you know, I believe in making this available for young people, and I believe in the impact work that JASYMN is doing.
You're a non-profit not for-profit organization.
Right, we're a 501c3 not-for-profit. That's important, Ken, because we don't know how we don't know what happens with federal dollars. We don't know what's going to happen with some of our federal dollars. The current administration has a policy right now that concerns us. It's called No Promo Homo. And it basically,
you want to say that one more time?
No promo homo.
Okay, describe that.
That's a policy I understand in the current federal administration that says if an organization is doing any kind of support work for gay and lesbian people or youth, we don't want to promote that. We don't want to fund that. We don't want to come near that. We don't want to make that visible. We don't want to. And so if JASYMN writes a proposal to do a really dynamic, innovative HIV prevention program, for example, with the CDC, they may pull us out of the batch just because of who we are, not because of what we're trying to do.
There you go. There's your discrimination firsthand.
Right.
And you've seen that happen already.
We have. And so that is why two things are important in this season. One is to vote. You know, we're encouraging people to vote their conscience. And the other is to really support with dollars an organization like JASYMN. In our 10th anniversary year, we've been here 10 years, we've done some great things, but we want to be here another 10 years or as long as it takes to make sure that that our city has lots of safe spaces for these young people and that they can really thrive and grow.
Did you say earlier there's 400 or so? How many youths come to JASYMN or overall? I don't know if we were talking off air or
well,
what.
we track numbers on a 12-month basis. So we've been looking at how many youth come to the drop-in center since we opened that in '98. And the first year we saw about 190 youth, and it's gradually grown. But this past year we saw 426 youth. Wow. So we have more than doubled in the last 5 years.
I'm convinced there's not a lot of people that know about you. I mean, you might be a very well-kept secret, and that's what I'm hopeful for, that people who might be viewing this take note, and maybe if they're interested in making a contribution or they know somebody that might be struggling with some certain sexual identities or youth that want to get involved with JASYMN and what you're doing there, might come on down. And all of your contact information is on your webpage, right?
That's right. That's right.
Is there a phone number? You can give out a phone number.
Sure.
You know, go
sure.
ahead. What is
Our
your
number is 389-3857, and the area code is 904. And we also have a line that we call the Gay Youth Information Line. That's a youth line. So young people who are questioning or who just want a safe place to call and talk, or maybe just have a question about HIV or testing or anything. That number is 389-0089.
Okay, so there's two numbers, but those are also on your webpage, and your webpage is www.jasmyn.org. And Cindy, it's been great. I mean, this time just flies by. You know, every time I do this, and I'm just happy that you were able to be here. I hope maybe you can come back and we can talk a little bit more about some of the issues that pertain to the GLBT community. It's a huge topic. It's at the top of the list for the ACLU in terms of discrimination and disenfranchisement. I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Ken. I hope you'll come back.
It's great to be here.
You've been watching Civil Discourse. My name is Ken Hurley. That's it for now. We air every 6:30 p.m. right here on this channel, Comcast Channel 29. We'll see you next time. Thank you. The ACLU is a private, nonprofit, nonpartisan membership organization. Our mission is to protect and advance the civil liberties and civil rights guaranteed by the United States Constitution, especially the principles contained in the Bill of Rights. We want to hear from you. Send us an email. Share your views and opinions. If you're interested in appearing on the program, let us know. Friend or foe, we want you on the show. You may contact the ACLU in the following ways. Our telephone number is 904-396-5242. Our post office box is 5331 Jacksonville, Florida 32247, and our email address is aclujax@yahoo.com. My name is Ken Hurley. Thank you for participating in Civil Discourse.